Yep.
There we go.
Right.
Nice.
So we should be recording. We should be recording. Yeah. So let's get more people to hop in,
Yeah.
and take it up from there.
100%.
Let me check on. Give me a few seconds to check on our other speakers. One of them told me she's actually stuck in traffic or stuff, so she might be a little bit late.
Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay. Yeah, we're on live on YouTube now. All right. So, hi guys. Hi everyone. Good evening from Ghana. It's actually 5:04 p.m. right here in Ghana. Wherever you're joining us from, put it in the comments. I want to see your energy. Use the emoji where you're joining us from. Tell us where you're joining us from. Nigeria, where in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, IB, wherever you're joining us from. So let's see those emojis. Let's see those emojis. And if you want to invite a friend over, you can do so. You can do so. You can invite a friend over. So let's get that in. Let's get it. Okay. So thank you, Prosper. Thank you, Prosper. Let's get more in. Let's get more in. Let me just send a reminder to the group again. Right. Thank you, Promise. Thank you, Prosper. All right. Prosper says he's joining me from Nigeria. Okay, that's awesome. All right. So we are going to be starting shortly. In fact, we've started already. So let me just one of our speakers will be around shortly. Okay. All right. So let's invite. Let's share the link. If you're watching this on YouTube, wherever you're watching this from, you can share the link to your friends. You can share it on social media. You can share it to on your stories. All right. Okay. So joining from Lagos, Hannah, to your welcome. Benga is joining from Ibadan. So these are basically some of the states in Nigeria, right? Okay, we are having Rejoice from Kogi State, Nigeria. Great to have you. Great to have you all. Great to have you all. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Where you are joining us from, kindly put it in the comments. Let's keep this coming. We're going to have a very interesting discourse today. So let's. I'm going to put my fan on, so you're going to have a little bit of time and enjoy the process. Okay. So this is. I'm going to officially welcome everybody to the creative webinar. This webinar has been set aside to help as many creatives as possible, African creatives, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you do, whatever skill you're rendering, as a creative person, you're all creatives. And if you don't understand what the word creative means, I believe you should understand by now, somebody that has a skill to offer that thinks creatively, strategically, prefer solutions in their own creative manner. So as digital skills are concerned, we are talking about creatives in the digital age, right? CMC from Lagos. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. So we're going to be having two of our guests join us soon. One will be running a bit late because of the traffic, because of one of two things she's taking care of, which life, anything can happen, right? And then one will be joining us soon. So um, Nathaniel is with us. I'm gonna make his introduction shortly, and we are gonna pick it up from there. So Nathaniel is joining us from the UK. Nathaniel, do you want to say hi to our brethren in Nigeria?
Hey everyone, how you doing? It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Gideon, thank you again for inviting me. It's literally like a pleasure to be here in front of all you guys as well.
Awesome.
Guys, I'll talk very, I'm from the UK, so if you guys need me to slow down at any point, just let me know in the chat. Just say you're speaking too fast, or say shut up and let me listen. Either way, just put something in the chat to let me know that I'm speaking too fast at any point. But yeah, definitely listen to Gideon and the other two speakers more than me.
All right. Okay, so you're gonna be having your session shortly. But before we begin, I just want to make a brief introduction of who Nathaniel is. I believe a lot of us here might be hearing about him, seeing him for the first time. So Nathaniel is a full stack copywriter from the UK, and he has been a copywriter for a little above 2 years, over 2 years now. And in this time, he has faced many obstacles in client acquisition, from which prospects to reach out to, outreach method to use, platform, whatever the platforms that are best to outreach, and so much more. Nathaniel has used what he has learned to close leads and deals with clients in numerous niches. Nathaniel is currently working on his personal brand as well as an outreach system that that he has learned and is suitable for the ever-evolving landscape of marketing. So, hi, Precious. Our second speaker is right here. How you doing?
Hi, good evening. From Nigeria time. Yeah, it's evening here.
Right.
Hi.
How's your day
Hi,
been?
Nathaniel. Nice to meet you.
You too. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Right. How's the day going?
It's quite raining here. Network glitches, the rain, it's weekend. It's going pretty well. Thank you.
Is it raining over there?
Yeah.
Oops. I think Nigeria must have sent the rain to Ghana. Nigeria and Ghana banter over a lot of things. So you guys have sensed the rain over here. So well and, all well and good. So our speaker, Rachel Augustine, the last speaker, will be joining us in the next 30 to 40 minutes. She just messaged me that something urgently came up, and she has to quickly attend to them. So she'll be joining us as we proceed. So
Okay.
before you joined in, Precious, speaking an introduction about Nathaniel, and he's joining us from the UK. Nathaniel, we're in the UK to be precise, please.
We're in the UK, so I'm just north of London, so about an hour's drive, no, an hour and a half drive, hour on the train. So yeah, it's no one knows where I'm from. It's cool. It's a little town called Bedford,
Right.
but yeah, it's just north of London, basically.
Right. Awesome. All right. So I'm just going to run a little bit of introduction. Okay, so we're going to proceed with Precious Origi's introduction. How do you want to take it? Ladies first, or we should just...
Sorry, man, I think you froze. Yeah, sorry guys, I think Gideon's frozen. I'm just going to try and let him know on WhatsApp. Yeah, sorry about this, guys. I'm just waiting for him to come back in, and then we'll see how he sort of wants to proceed with this.
Okay, that's fine.
Pardon me. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. That was a little bit of a network issue from my. Um, can you still hear me? Right.
I can hear you. Yeah, you're perfect, my friend. And it happens to the best of us.
Thank you. Okay, so I was going to make an introduction about this, um, precious origin, and just a second. So precious origin, telling us the Lagos, and she's doing amazingly well in the creative space. So I'm going to be reading an introduction now. So so precious science Lagos University. Precious, can you hear me, Precious? You are muted.
Okay, I can hear you now. I didn't get what you said.
You're muted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you clearly now. Okay, I didn't get what you said. I can hear you clearly now.
Okay, I was asking how Lagos, Nigeria is today.
Okay. Raining. I'm currently not in Lagos, so I don't know why I keep on saying Lagos, but it's raining. Nigeria, what I currently say is raining, chill, cool, weekend vibes, remote worker vibes, just working from home vibes. So that's basically it's been cool, yeah.
I know, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So very quickly, I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be introducing Precious Origi to everyone on the live. Precious Origi is a copywriter and marketing strategist. She's also passionate about building people's capacities with a particular focus on giving young people the knowledge and skills they need to take advantage of employment and entrepreneurial opportunities in line with SDG 1. Not just in the title, but with a vast understanding of sales and psychology. She has worked for both foreign and top Nigerian brands as a copywriter, creating successful marketing campaigns using a special S2PD system. She has She has also trained over 10,000 persons directly and indirectly on the skills of copywriting, sales, and marketing. She's also the co-founder of Create for Boss, a community for creatives in the marketing and communications industry. Renowned for expertise in sales and psychology, as she has charted a fine path in the business world as a top sales and marketing expert. Based on a marketing prowess, she has gotten numerous recognitions.
Keep going. Network.
Yeah, he's gone again, unfortunately. So Precious, you say you do marketing and sales?
Yeah. Copywriting, marketing, communications industry. Yeah.
So you're kind of pretty full stack then, I guess, in a lot of ways. Like a full package kind of person.
Huh?
So you're kind of like a full package kind of person? Like full
full stack.
Marketing.
Yeah, full stack. Thank you.
Sorry.
You guys get introduction. Pardon the in and out. I think the because of the rain, the network is a little bit glitchy because of the rains here. Okay, so so I just made an introduction of Precious Origi, some of the awards she has won: the Exceptional Woman in Sales and Marketing 2023 by Tewa, Influential Female Writer by BWA, Top 100 Smart Brands in Africa 2023, Innovative Copywriting Award, W Academy, Personal Brand of the Year by Smart Brands Africa, nominated for Superwoman Under 30 Award, and many others. In Nigeria, we say Upo, 2 hands upstairs. Right?
I'm humbled. I'm humbled.
Right. So, all right. So let's. I believe we should start with ladies first, right? I mean, let's give Precious
Oh, all
the
right.
first platform,
That can work.
right?
That can work.
Uh, right. So like as you have seen in this webinar, one of the key things we are looking at in this webinar is winning on the global stage as a creative. And when it comes to that topic, some of the keywords you want to pick from it is something like the word global, right? Global. And I believe for Nigerians, Africans, when it comes to the word global, a lot of people have this limiting factor, this mindset issues, of pushing themselves global. So I want to start with you, Precious. You've obviously worked with global brands, top performing brands in Nigeria and global brands abroad. So the
Yeah.
first question I want to ask is the mindset that actually helped you push out of your environment and think globally. What was that mindset? At what point did you began to think strategically and globally? What changed the game for you?
I'm trying hard to pick what you said.
All right. Okay. I'll repeat the question again. The question I'm asking is the mindset. Having worked with some of the top performing brands in Nigeria and globally, what was that mindset shift that changed the game for you? When you began to reach out globally and stuff, what's really happened that changed the game for you? Hello, Precious, are you with me? Um, okay, I think there's a little technical issue with network regarding Precious. It's limiting a lot of people. And so the first thing I want to ask, which I always ask, what's the impact?
Sorry, Gideon, I can't hear you, mate. Sorry, your mic has gone a bit funny.
Okay, can you hear me now? Loud and
Yeah,
clear?
that's much better. Much better.
Right. So I was asking a question that what do you think is the mindset shift a creative needs to have from them to move from local gigs to international gigs? What is that mindset shift that a creative needs to have for them to move from local gigs to international gigs? Obviously, you've done international stores before, so what do you think is that thing that can move African creatives, from the mindset of being a local champion, if I can put it that way, so thinking like a global champion?
Okay. So do you want me to answer, or should we let Precious answer now that she's back?
Yeah. Okay. Then let's start with you. Precious will answer once you've given your take.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, for me, obviously, I'm not from Africa, as you can probably tell, but in terms of like mindset shifts, I think for people who are sort of creatively minded, I think one of the biggest issues is that we position ourselves as like, obviously technically we're all freelancers, well, a lot of us anyway, and we kind of position ourselves unknowingly as like as employees, like especially if you've, like for me personally, I've come from like a decade of working 9 to 5s. Like I'm 32 now. I've been working 9 to 5 since I was 21 years old. So I've been working 9 to 5s for over 10 years. And what that meant for me at the start was that I would go on to sales calls and I would let the prospect take control, even though I'm supposed to be making a sale for my business. I would let the prospect tell me what they wanted to pay, and I'd let them dictate the conversation. And don't get me wrong, you definitely have to listen to your prospects. But for me personally, I think it's shifting from like an employee mindset to like a business owner mindset, because at the end of the day, we are still business owners. Like we're selling services that are worth money and provide value. So that's what I would say is like try and think of yourself as a business owner. You're not an employee speaking to a potential boss. It's not a job interview. It's a business negotiation. So I would say going into every sales call thinking like that. It's not an easy shift to make. It's not something you can sort of do overnight. But I think you can definitely, once you sort of understand that, and once you learn to sort of say no to the wrong opportunities, I would say that that's kind of a big part of figuring it out, is knowing that you can say no, and that some things, like, if it's not meant for you, it's going to miss you. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I would say about it.
Right. So I'll switch it to Precious now. So Precious, what was that mindset shift that changed the game from you, to begin to pitch globally? At what point, what was that light bulb moment that actually changed the game for you to start pitching globally? And how were you able to work your way around that, Precious? You are muted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the point where I started knowing that, okay, yeah, I can sell my skill on a global market. I can put myself out there, make money in global currencies, not just in my own local currency. But it's not just about the money first. The moment it got to me that if I can deliver results to a client in my country, I can also deliver that same result to another client in a different country. Every client wants the same thing. They want results. So it's not country, it's not race, it's not age, it's not type, it's results. They want the same thing. So if I can deliver the same, if I can deliver results to a client in country A, it's possible to also deliver results to a client in country B. So once you understand that, once you know that, okay, you are the kind of person that can get the job done, you're the kind of person that can deliver results, which the client care about. They don't care about your age, your race, your color. They care about results. So once you understand you can deliver it, then I think you are ready to sell your skill to a global market. So that was the right moment I knew it was possible.
Okay, that's a beautiful one. But I want to ask this based on what you said earlier. So take myself for example now. For example, what would you say? What would you advise me? As a creative, up and coming creative, who thinks that the global stage is not for me? Like, okay, let's begin to do the whole Nigerian local gigs thing. What would be your advice? Like, how would you help me out of that limiting belief?
Okay, for that creative out there who feels the global market is not for me, I can just sell my skill to alone. I want to tell you that it's like the global market is for everyone. You have a right to get in there and take the share of the market. In as much as you know you can deliver results, any market is for you. First class, what, first class, second class, what, any marketing for you. In as much as you know you can deliver it. I think that's the parameter. It's not your color. It's not whether you're native speaker or you're not a native speaker. It's not your color. All these things are not the main thing. The nitty gritty is once you know you can deliver results, I'm encouraging you to put yourself out there. In fact, these clients, these business owners, they are praying, they are wishing they can connect to you because it's a win-win for them. Their business grow, you make money. So it's not like you are reaping from them. It's not like you are reaping them. It's not like you are taking from them. It's not like you're a parasite. No, it's a win-win. Like you are a problem solver. So you see yourself as the needy. They need you. They are wishing to meet someone that will help their business grow. So if you have the necessary skills and you know you can deliver results to that client, put yourself out there. Because trust me, they are praying to meet you.
That's
I
a
hope
good
that
one.
answers the question.
Do you, Nathaniel, do you have anything you want to add to that? Probably. Your advice for somebody who is on the limiting belief system that, probably I can't reach out to foreign clients, I can't, take my business globally. What would actually be your advice to that person?
I think it would depend on the person that it is. I mean, I think Precious has put it very well in terms of, like, I think master your skill first. Is like, and that's something that my current mentor always talks about, is like always prioritize your level of skill first, because ultimately once you start winning, right, So once you start winning at something, or you start doing well at something, or you start delivering results, that in itself breeds like an inner confidence into you. It's the same as like when, say, I'm on this call right now with you guys. A couple of years ago, when I first started as a copywriter, I would never have had the confidence to do something like this. And it's the same as like with a sales call. I was nervous. I didn't know what to say. There was loads of awkward silences. So it's just about like, I think this is probably the biggest thing. Like you have to make yourself uncomfortable. And then you kind of understand, once you understand that business owners are just people like you, I think that kind of creates a big thing in your sort of subconscious. But then there's a lot of things you can do as well organizationally to make sure, well, if the business owner says this, I'm going to say this, or I'm going to use this outreach message and I'm going to test it. Or if the business owner says this on a sales call, I'm going to decide that it's not for me. And you have to have sort of those, I would say you have to have those boundaries with yourself also. So yeah, that's what I would say. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely does make sense. Another question I want to ask, Precious. Um, okay, one question I want to ask Precious is this. Now, you are. I don't think you're in Lagos at the moment, are you?
I'm not in Lagos.
Yeah. Now, I want to be a freelance. I believe I say this for a lot of freelancers, creatives out there. I want to become like Precious, right? Cliche stuff. I want to become Precious. I want to travel around the country, work remotely. I mean, I'm looking at you. I'm seeing you have this stream made chair you're sitting on. I think there's an AC behind you. You are chilling, you're vibing. I want to work with those tools. It's like laptop. Some freelancers are dreaming of having a MacBook and stuff, right? Phones, gadgets, and stuff. So I want to start with you. What physical tools would you recommend, or would you say a freelancer should start? Or how did you, if I put it this way, how did you start with these tools? And how should a Nigerian creative upgrade over time? I don't know if you got a question.
Okay, I think I got that question. And I'll say it. I don't want to start naming all these fancy tools because the truth is it can never be enough. Your freelancing journey can never be enough. You will always need something. Oh, I'm adding this to my workspace. I'm adding this to get comfortable. I'm adding this to build my brand. I need a laptop. I need a desktop. I need fancy things. So what I would say is start with what you have. Anything you have, in as much as it's something that has an internet and can send message, start with it. And with that, you can build your dream workspace. You can build anything you want. Because if you don't start, if you're waiting, okay, I need to get the latest iPhone to shoot video, the iPhone will come. You see, so I need a camera, a Sony camera to shoot video. The camera will come. You say, oh, I don't feel like my background is fine enough. I need a fancy background and all that. You keep on wishing and wishing. So start with what you have. There's no exact tool to start with. There's no exact, like there's no 100% you must start with this. What I always say is start with what you have and build with what you have. In the sense that do something with that. Use that little you have and build. And once you start getting dividends, once you start getting returns on investments on your skill, invest immediately back into building structure that will make you efficient. Because a lot of creatives, once they start making money, once they start getting the money, getting the clients, they want to flex, they want to enjoy the money. No, once you start making, try as much as possible to invest back into yourself. Pay for gadgets, get internet, get all those things sorted out. Don't let the little things affect your efficiency and scaling as a creative or as a copywriter or as someone who wants to make money in the digital space. Start with what you have. If it's a phone can, I remember when I started. Okay, I'm going to share my story. Do I have that time to share a story? Can I?
Yeah, sure, you have.
All right.
You have.
I remember when I started.
Yes,
Okay, I
you
started
can.
with a phone. I started with a phone. The phone was so bad. In fact, I had to use an extra rubber band to keep the phone together. That was how bad this phone was. The first part of the phone was blinded. The second part was, okay. So if I want to operate the phone, I'll have to auto rotate, those kind of thing for me to be able to operate the phone. That was how bad that phone was. But if I told myself, oh, I need to wait till I get my phone sorted out, oh, I need to wait till I will not be where I am today. But because I knew what I wanted, I knew that I could use what I was to get the life I'm admiring. I started with what I have. I started with that phone. I worked, I got an extra phone. I worked, I got a system. I worked, I got a tablet. Now I've built Stone S and I've built a workspace that is efficient for the kind of scaling I'm trying to scale. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So in other words, what you're trying to say is having limited tools is not an excuse,
It's
right?
never an
Take
excuse.
for instance,
You have
take for
you
instance
have
now,
you have something.
take for instance now, I want to go into TikTok video content creation, and the phone issue you mentioned, I can't be able to do TikTok videos with that kind of phone, or there's a way that will feel, or somebody that wants to go into YouTube, and the phone they are using is like Nigerians will call it palasa phone, so that is obviously not an excuse, right?
Definitely not an excuse. Start with what you have.
Okay. That's for Nathaniel, I'm gonna switch the question to you. I believe when you started your journey, you didn't have it all rosy, like the whole laptop thingy, the whole phone, iPhone stuff and stuff. So can you probably share us your story a little bit, how you're able to start small and grow big, and in terms of gadgets and stuff? I mean, I'm looking at you have like your own study space and stuff like that, which you use for your store. So how did you actually get to this stage, basically, in terms of utilizing tools and gadgets? Yeah.
I think what Precious said is really bang on the money. And what I mean by that is that it's not really about buying the most expensive thing. It's about using what you have to your maximum advantage. Like, I think we use this term a lot now, but when we're talking about personal brand, it really only comes down to a couple of things. So say I'm making a video for TikTok, like you said. Say I don't know, I'm making a video about copywriting and I want to talk about, I don't know, the rule of one. Just say, for example, like I want to make a video about that topic. The main thing is that I've got a clear background and you can hear what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't need to be like ultra HD or AI enhanced or whatever. Obviously, AI captions can help if you've got an app that can do that. I mean, that's quite cheap anyway. But like, I'll give you an example. Like, all the equipment that I've got on this call is literally like, I think the combination of it is worth about $500. So I'm talking laptop, camera, mic, everything. Whereas some people spend $1,500 on just a laptop. Like, I don't think there's nothing wrong in investing in yourself, but I would say focus on, like, I would say before you start spending money on loads of fancy equipment, start spending money on like learning skill and like just maximize what you have. Like, one of the notes that I made for this particular thing was that, because it's something that I struggled with early on, was that like having a room that looks tidy behind you. Like right now I've got a plain white background with a window behind me, but for all you guys know, the rest of this room could be a complete mess. It's not, but it could be. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just about presenting yourself as good as possible. And it really doesn't take that much. You've just got to find a spot in the house which has good Wi-Fi signal, because a lot of audio issues and video issues are created by that anyway. You can get away with a pretty sort of standard camera, I would say, and you can get away with a pretty standard mic. But it's not really, I wouldn't say it's essential to like spend loads of money on that. It's more about just maximizing what you have, take pictures of you that are clear if you want to put them online. So as long as you've got a camera that's good enough to do that, and you've got something which is good enough to present on a sales call or on video content, if that's what you're making, then I would say that is enough.
Yep. You mentioned you prepared a slide to actually talk about some presentations, tools, gadgets, and stuff like that. Can you probably put up the screen? Maybe if there are some things you can probably pick from there. We can proceed to share.
Yeah, if you just give me 2 seconds and I will share the screen.
Okay. Right. So guys, while Nathaniel is trying to get his screen up, if you have questions, you can actually put them in the comments, and you take it up from there. So if you have questions as the session is going on, you can just drop it in the comments. We'll go over the questions and treat them. Also, don't forget that, like I mentioned earlier on, one of our speakers will be joining us a little bit late, for unavoidable reasons. So Rachel Augustine, would be joining us in the next few minutes. So keep your questions going. Invite your friends, invite your loved ones, your enemies, and let's have a party here. All right. So Nathaniel is So take it off from here, Nathaniel.
Yeah. Can you see everything? Can everyone see? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see a screen.
Fantastic. Okay, yeah, so I just called this slide Expert Setup and Positioning, and this works even if you have no client experience. So it's a way of kind of trying to position yourself as an expert, even if you haven't got necessarily the experience to say that you have, right? And what I've said here is pretty much what we've just discussed. You don't need to buy like a best-in-class equipment straight away. Clear beats clever every single time. So clear video, clear background, clear sound quality. And I've just said try and find areas of good Wi-Fi, because not having this literally hampers how your video and audio comes across. And then I've basically said prioritize a good laptop over a fancy camera or a mic, because I would say that the laptop's the most important thing, because that's what at the end of the day, we're copywriters and we're marketers. We're going to have a lot of files. So as long as you've got a laptop, I would say with decent storage. And if you can get a camera if you've got enough money to get a camera that's good, that's integrated into it, then that's fine. If not, like I say, you can get like my camera is not integrated into my laptop, but it's pretty cheap and it does the job as far as like clear enough picture of myself. Like you can see I'm not a scammer or a bot. So like it's kind of, I would personally say that's all you need. Oh, sorry, I've skipped a bit ahead there. This is just some presentation hacks, but I don't know if you want me to share that yet or not, because I'm not really on that question. But
I just have a question before you move to the presentation hacks. Okay, yeah. You'll still be able to share your screen. You talked about one of your slides. You talked about having a good laptop over fancy phones and stuff. Is it really important? Take for instance, I'm an up and coming freelancer creative. I don't really have access to the latest laptops and funds to buy the latest laptops and stuff like that. What do you think I can do that I can actually make me presentable if I'm having, say, a Google meeting with a prospect? What devices can I use?
Yeah, so I mean, when I'm saying prioritize a good laptop, I just mean a laptop that's functional. Like I just mean a laptop that's not going to turn off when you're in the middle of work. So like, what I'm trying to say is like, don't get a second-hand one. Like, don't get one that's got loads of issues. Don't get one that's got hardly any storage. So storage space is quite important. Like I say, it's all based. I do think that anyone can do it. Like I think you've just got to work with what you have, like I said. But I would just say prioritize a good laptop over good sound quality and good signal over good sound quality.
Awesome. And as you go ahead, I believe the person can switch to a much more better fancy looking laptop, right? Yeah. Do we have Precious here? Precious, are you still with us? Let me see if we have Precious.
I'm still here.
Right. So you also mentioned quite a lot about tools and stuff like that. I want to
Yeah.
ask Precious this question. This question also goes to Nathaniel, but I want to ask Precious first. Earlier on, I think I was reading a Facebook post of yours recently on Facebook, and then you were talking
Okay.
about some of the automation tools you use. I think you were talking about something relating to Zapier and stuff. Now, as a
Oh,
creative,
okay.
we know you are living in the AI world, and there are a lot of apps and software. So my question to you is, what apps, software, and resources do you use that actually ease the work for you, and which of them would you recommend to newbies to actually familiarize themselves with?
All right. AI tools, I think it's depending on your exact skill or expertise. So, are you saying in general, or am I streamlining?
You can actually streamline, and then you can actually use generals. I mean, say for instance now, apps, Zoom, Google Meet, we are on YouTube, right? YouTube is an app. Everybody needs to know how to use YouTube at least. That's on a
Yeah.
general scale. But basically, for your own work, what are the basic? Let me just say the basic tools, apps that people need to be familiarized
Okay.
themselves with, because the truth is a lot of people don't know how to use these things. So you can probably talk
Yeah.
about them and how they can go about it.
All right. So I feel we are in a time where not knowing how to use this AI tools or not knowing how to use tools shouldn't be an excuse anymore. Like some are free, there are YouTube tutorials. So creatives need to familiarize themselves with AI tools from ChatGPT for research, Grok, Zoom, like all those apps that can make your life easier. I currently started using this Gamma app, and my life changed. Like I can create slides in minutes. Instead of spending hours trying to create maybe a presentation to present to the department, creative brief, I just use Gamma slide, give it its prompts, and it creates the slide in minutes. So I feel this a kind to always find shit that can make your life easier. What I would say is um, you might not get all these things together from ChatGPT, Gamma app for presentation. We have many tools for checking your text for grammatical errors. We have Canva for design. We have Cap. Like there are so many tools out there. So what I would say is every day try as much as possible to use AI tools. It just increase your how good you are with it. So I find so that's what I do. I try and put a possible what can I do with AI like what task can I carry out with AI tool today? Okay, I want to do something. Is there any AI tool for this? I'm trying to familiarize myself because AI will not replace you. Like AI will replace people that don't know how to use it. So you need to familiarize yourself with it. So I try as much as possible to find myself using AI tools at least every day. What can I do? Which tool can I exploit to do? Okay, I want to create a design. What AI tool like are there? Like I want to do something. Oh, I want to check my calories before I eat. Are there AI tools for this? Like I try as much as possible to exploit these tools every day. You can't, learn them every day. The goal is to master them every day. So I try as much as possible to exploit these tools every day. So can you hear me now? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Precious. I can't hear Gideon at the
All
moment.
right. Thank you for that.
There's a bit of a delay on the
Okay.
stream.
So what I would say all right. So what I would say for creative ideas, try as much as possible to familiarize your tool with tools daily. Use AI tools every day of your life. Find ways to incorporate it into your tasks. It's not by clients no longer want client clients are no longer asking, can you get the job done? Is can you get the job done, and how fast can you get that job done? So if tools can make your work better and also faster, why not utilize them? So that's one way to do it. Thank you.
Sorry, Gideon, I can't hear you, my friend. No, still nothing. I'm sorry, man.
Gideon, I think you're muted.
No, I don't think he is. It doesn't. Normally, the mute button would be there, but no, I still can't hear you, man. Still nothing. Feel like I can hear some background noise, but I can't hear your voice for some reason. No, I still can't hear you. No, I still can't hear you, man. Can anyone in the chat hear Gideon? Can you tell me in the comments if you can hear him, or is it just me?
I can't hear him at all. I think you have to go off and come back if possible. I think that can help.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they can't hear you either. Yeah, no, sorry guys. I think he's just experiencing a slight technical issue, but he's going to be back as soon as he can. And then obviously we'll continue talking about this. No, still nothing. Nope. Okay. Gideon's asked me to share my screen, guys, whilst he fixes his audio up. So I'm just going to go through a couple of things with you. It's just based off some of the stuff. Yeah, it's just some of the stuff that I've done for this thing, and it's based on my experience only. So obviously, like, other people might have a different opinion. Like, obviously, Precious, if you have experienced something different to what I'm about to say, then feel free to like jump in. Because I know that you're obviously extremely established, and obviously Gideon is as well. So I'm quite happy for you guys to sort of jump in whilst I'm doing this. That's not a problem. Yeah, no, sorry, I'm having a bit of a technical issue loading my screen up, actually. Let me just see if I can sort it now. It says the address bar.
Hello, Gideon. I can still hear you. All right. Hi everyone. Can you guys hear me? I think I'm the only one here. Please, if you can hear me, let me know in the chat so I can just go on before he comes back. Gideon, we can hear you.
Hello, good evening.
Hi,
Can everybody
Rachel.
hear me?
We can hear you. Gideon is having technical issues. His mic.
Okay. All right. Good evening, Precious. Good evening, Nathaniel. Hi, Gideon. It's great to be here. Sorry, I've not used StreamYard before, so I really don't know what the setup looks like. I'm just trying to adapt to that now. And Gideon, I can't hear you. Nathaniel, if you can hear me, please let me know.
I can hear you. Yeah, it's perfect. Your audio is perfect.
Thank you. I haven't heard anything from Gideon, so I don't know if I should proceed or.
Yeah, I would say we've all sort of done introductions. So if you just like talk a little bit about yourself and like what your experience within the industry was, how you got into it, and you know some of your wins or some of the things that you struggled with. Either way.
All right. Okay. Hi, everybody, once again. I'm Rachel Augustine, and I'm a direct response copywriter. But I like to say that over the years, I've evolved quite swiftly into other aspects of entrepreneurship in general. I now own e commerce businesses. I'm a global copy mentor. And basically, I now like to introduce myself as a global copy mentor, a copywriter, and a multi business founder because I have businesses in different niches here in Nigeria and, of course, digitally as well. I began copywriting in 2020. That was during the lockdown. Major cities were locked down. I was in Lagos, Nigeria, and it was locked down as well. And of course, I needed something to do during the time that I was home, and that was how I stumbled on copywriting. It was really exciting seeing that I loved to write, I loved to tell stories, and basically, I loved the thrill that came with making people do your bidding by simply reading something that you wrote. It was quite fascinating for me, and I just went all into copywriting. And along the way, I met so many wonderful colleagues, mentors, teachers, coaches who molded me into the copywriter that I am today. I have written promos across different industry. I've written in health niche, I've written in fitness niche, I've written in real estate, especially here in Nigeria. And my work has contributed to generating over $6 million in sales for my clients combined. And I'd say that's about me in a few seconds. Thank you.
No,
Do we
that's
have
amazing. Thank you for that.
on the score?
Sorry, carry on.
Do we have people present on the call? Okay, I can see the comments. Oh, all right.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realise that was there either at first. Just like the private chat didn't have anything in it, and then the comments were there. So
Yeah,
I had the same issue.
I can see the comments right now. Okay, so yeah, let me know if I can proceed with my presentation. Is there a way for me to share my screen? If that's possible, please also let me
Yeah,
know.
there is. I just had a bit of a problem with it actually, but there's a button. So there's a Leave Studio button at the bottom of your screen, and there should be a Present button next to that.
Yes, so I can proceed with that, right? Because I told
Yeah,
Gideon I have a very limited time here. I have to be somewhere tonight.
yeah, no, that's no problem.
All right. Okay, so try to present right now. Um,
No, sorry, Gideon. There's still no sound. I'm afraid. So I think you're on mute, Precious.
Okay, thank you, Nathaniel. Gideon, can you communicate with us through the chat? Hi, Gideon. Did that work?
He's gone again. Rachel, did you were you able to get your slides up? The
Yeah,
presentation?
I'm trying to. So I'm not quite familiar with StreamYard.
Me
And
neither.
trying to see how. Oh, okay.
Okay, you can share screen via using your system.
Sorry, Precious, are you talking to me? I can't hear you.
Yeah, yeah. So you can you see share screen via using your desktop like system.
Yes. Yeah, I can see the option that says present, and I'm
Okay.
trying to open. So I'm going with share screen,
Yeah.
and right here I can see the slides I want to present, but somehow the share button is not functioning. So I'm wondering why that is. It only allows me to share this. Okay, let me see if I can share my entire screen.
Yeah.
But what happens, and I don't think you guys see me. But can you see that I'm sharing my screen?
Not
Mm,
right now, no.
Is that working now?
No.
Okay. Whoa. Probably going to have to proceed without doing this.
yeah, I think you can just go ahead. That can still work.
Sorry, what did you say, Precious?
Okay, you can go ahead. That can work.
Yeah, I think I'll proceed without the screen share. Okay, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, I can see some people in the comments. Hi, Rachel, namesake. Hi. Hi, Chikweze Patience. Hello, Damilola. If you've said hi before and I missed your comment, so sorry. Hi, everybody. And yeah, it's good to be here. So the topic today says winning on the global stage as a creative, correct? And before I proceed, I would like to do a quick location check with everyone who's present here. I am talking to you live from Lagos, Nigeria, and I would like to know where everybody's tuned in from. If you're in Port Harcourt, if you're in Abuja, if you're outside Nigeria, let me know in the comment section. And if you're in my city as well and you can hear me, let's do a quick location chat in the comments. Need to be sure that everybody can hear me before I proceed.
I can hear you loud and clear, so I think the comments probably can.
Okay, so I think they can. Somebody says Ibadan, Ajibola Benga. Hi, Ajibola from Ibadan. Okay, we need to hear from more people so we can proceed. Chukwu Diganovi, I know this name. Live from River State, Chukwueze Patients, live from Abuja. So let's proceed. Unfortunately, I'll be unable to share my screen with you guys, but I do have some things to share with you today very quickly before my time is up. Wisdom from Abuja and Promise from Kogi State. Excellent. All right. So, winning on the global stage as a creative, what's the global stage? I like to define it as stages, organizations, forums, communities within and beyond your current geographical location. So, yeah, I am in Lagos, Nigeria, right? But from Lagos, Nigeria, I can reach organizations, companies, forums, places, people across nations and across continents. right? Thankfully, the internet has made accessibility pretty easy for us these days. So, as an African, how do you win globally? Well, it's not new that, especially as Nigerians, we do have certain restrictions that keeps us from accessing global stages profitably, especially when it comes to selling our services, when it comes to offering our skills, etc. So, how do you win globally as an African? The first thing I have here is to share original thoughts. If you're on my email list or if you've ever read from me, a few days ago, I did share on a series that I'm currently writing to copywriters on winning on global stages. I did share that original thoughts on social media will earn you a lot more than repurposing what you've heard somebody else say. So let's put it this way. You see that the viral trends on LinkedIn is people celebrating their wins, people having controversial takes about certain copywriting principles, etc. And because you want to go viral, so to speak, you begin to take those posts, you begin to take those thoughts and probably begin to refine them in a way that also gets you attention. Now that's good and fairly enough, it can take you, I don't know, 2 miles. But if you need something that will take you 1,000, 1,000,000 miles, and of course, skyrocket you into the hearts of people who are in dire need of solutions and the kind of originality that only you can bring, you have to learn to put out original content. Be authentic, but make it smart, right? So I gave an example. I said there was, I think a few months ago, I did put out a tweet from my thoughts, and it was something along the lines of direct response marketing and copywriting not being something that I experienced, not being the same thing that I experienced when I came into the industry, right? So when I became a copywriter about 5 years ago, the way copywriting was, the way we put out sales letters, advertorials, emails, etc., a lot of those have changed now. And not because human nature has changed, not because persuasion or storytelling has changed, but he has changed mostly because of how people now receive information. Every day, your prospects are becoming more and more sophisticated. Every day, there are new marketing channels being introduced. 5 years ago, I don't know if there was TikTok, but it wasn't this viral, right? So now we have to adapt to creating short form video content, short form VSLs, and pushing it into the market to get a lot more of our customers to react to receive this information that we want them to receive, right? And some people like to say that long form sales letters are going out of fashion. I disagree, right? I'm one of the copywriters who disagree. I like to say that a copy should be long enough to sell everything and tell the prospects everything that they need to know about that particular product. So if it takes 5 lines, do it. If it takes 50 lines, do it. If it takes 1,000 lines, heck, do it, right? It does not matter how long or how short it is. What's important is that this passes the information that it needs to pass and gets the desired action that you want these people to take. Simple and straight, short as that. So when it comes to creating original content and being authentic online, it is not about blending into what the majority are saying for the purpose of acceptance. It is simply you taking your own original thoughts, how you see things, how you experience things. And that's why I like this saying that says experience is the best teacher. Because the more you experience direct response marketing and copywriting, the more you understand it, the more you get burnt when you put out campaigns that don't work, the more you see the successes of great campaigns that you put out that actually works, the more you understand from your own perspective what direct response is. And of course, the more you can begin to form your own original opinions and your own original thoughts. So back to this post that I put out on LinkedIn, I was explaining how the opening "Dear Reader" is not something that will really cut it right now with the level of sophistication that audiences have. And many people said, no, Gary Albert would not agree with this. This is not how copywriting is. Dear Reader would always bang and it will always be a fire opening regardless of the age and time. And there was a backlash happening in my comment section. And that happened because I shared my original thoughts. I was not afraid of backlash. I was not afraid of the direct response fanboys who would never change a thing that they met because they wanted it to stay the same sacred ways. We're not looking for things to stay the same sacred ways. We want things that work. We want things that sell. We want to write words that actually go out there and get the desired response that we want it to get. Whether it goes this way or that way, what's important is that the work is done, right? So the more you study, the more you experience, the more you go deep into the trenches and get real first-hand experience, the more you can form your own original thoughts and actually put them out there. So I would say don't be afraid of creating original thoughts and putting them out on social media. What's important is that they are not stupid, right? Don't just go out there and put something controversial because you want to get eyeballs and get attention. Let it be well thought out, a product of your own careful thoughts, right? A product of your own experiences. And don't be afraid to share. These days, people are looking for difference. They don't want the same anymore. Nobody's going to hire you because you are doing what every other copywriter is doing. There's something different about what you do. There's something different about how you think. If there's something insanely brilliant about the work that you do, then you can be sure that you're going to start getting noticed on global stages. The second and very important one here, second point that I've made here, is to keep your original names, but make it easily pronounceable, right? You can make a catchy phrase from it, but never change your name. I see many Nigerian copywriters changing their names and trying to make it sound foreign or trying to take on a foreign name that's not their name just so that they can blend into the global stages. If my name wasn't Rachel Augustine, if it was something really thick and really Nigerian, I can bet you that I would still go by it, right? Why is that? Because I'm proud of my Nigerianness. It does not cut me off from gaining access to global stages or gaining access to international locations. Why? Because that is me. A Russian man will never change his name for you, right? It's the same with the man in Slovakia, or what's it called? It's the same with the person in Switzerland. They're not going to change their names for you. You're going to pronounce it as hard and tough as it is because that is their identity. So no changing your identity because you want to be accepted. What's important is what's in here. How do you think? How do you process information? How dangerous are your words? And how much what's it called? How much increase can it cause? How much results can it bring in for this person who has brought you on board as a direct response copywriter? And finally, here, own a global portfolio and resume. So this was one series that I started and I got so many responses, so many I did not know. And I was wondering, really, I've known this for a few years, right? Own a global resume and portfolio. A lot of us on this call are so guilty of having this one-page Google Doc portfolio, and that is what we can be identified by. You have a client who you're probably pitching or a job role that you're applying for, and you decide to apply using a Google Doc link, right? And then you're wondering why you are not called back. You're wondering why you are not standing out. I like to say that learning to use unique mechanisms and big ideas are not just for your client promos. Use them for yourself. You are a brand. You, the direct response copywriter, you are a brand. So you should learn to differentiate yourself and do things that are so and way different from what other direct response marketers and copywriters are doing. It is so rare for you to find a copywriter who has their portfolio displayed on a Notion website or a card.co website or a Canva one site website. There's so many of those tools. You don't even have to have your personal website. If you don't have that set up yet, you can use Card, you can use Notion, you can use all of these things. There are so many of them. Some of the names I put in my head are probably like gone off right now, but there's so many of them that you can use, right? Please ditch the good old Google Docs. It has served us. It has served us for a long time, but it's time to wave it goodbye, okay? Own a global resume and a portfolio. So in case you're wondering, how am I sure that my portfolio or my resume is global standard? I'm going to talk briefly about how you can create and own a global portfolio. So it's really crazy that I cannot share my screen. You would have seen some of the things I have highlighted, but it's no problem. I can send the slides to Gideon and he can send it to you guys in the community so that you can have a look. So for your new portfolio, you can use Google Slides, just like the one I've created. You can use Notion, Card, Canva. If you have a personal website, that's excellent, right? So what do you need apart from this? You need your samples, results, if you have any experiences, and of course, your storytelling skills, because what you're telling is a beautiful and short story that would make this person who's interested in hiring you to actually decide to bring you on board. So now let's dive into what this global portfolio should look like. We're aiming for 8 slides. If you're an overdue, overdue means someone who likes to do things in excessive. If you're an overdue, you can have 10 slides. But I like to say that you can have 8 slides. Now, this is if you're going for the Google Slides option. This is the simplest and the easiest. With Google Slides, I don't think anybody can say that there is a barrier. Once you have a Google account, you have access to Google Slides, right? So you can use Google Slides. But if you want to go extra, if you're like me and you like to go extra, you can use Notion, you can use Card. There's so many of them. Maybe I'll find the names and outline them to you later on. So for your first slide, what are you having there? The first thing that's going to be there is a very brief introduction. Your name, what you do, your skill strengths, and your copywriting process, right? So now don't go and say, my name is, I am a copywriter who does this. My strengths are, this is not basic 5, and you're not trying to write an essay about me. What you're doing is you're aiming for the bullseye. You want to get this person to instantly say, who's this? Right? So you want to find, you can use a pattern interrupt introduction, right? You're copywriters, I believe that you know what pattern interrupts are. You can use a pattern interrupt introduction, or you can just go on and say, I'm Rachel Augustine and I'm that copywriter who does this, that. And the person's like, really? What a bold introduction. Okay, let's see if you really have the balls to pull this off, right? The first thing you're aiming for is attention in the first slide of your Google Slides portfolio. Then you go on to talk about your skill strengths, your copywriting process. How do you go from receiving the brief to making the research to the final output? What is your creative process like? So you want to quickly, very quickly, in a sentence or two, walk this employer or this hiring manager through what it is like. So you want to make them see through your lens how you create a copy from start to finish, right? So everything here should be really brief. Pack it into about 2-3 sentences max. Make it punchy, and that will be all for the first slide. Now, for the second slide, you have slide 1 done, you have your introduction and all of that. The second thing is you're going into the meat of the matter. Now, after making these claims, telling them what your process is like, your skill strengths, etc., the next thing you want to go into is, if you have worked for brands already, you want to name drop the brands that you have worked for. So now you are going into the meat of the matter. What brands have you worked for? Great. If they have logos, you just drop their logos, or you put their names. You can put links to their website if they and you are open to that, right? On the same slide, you can simply list the certifications and awards that you have that are relevant to your skill of copywriting, okay? You want to list certifications and awards that are relevant to what you do right now and the services that you render, okay? And here, if you are a new writer, you're probably wondering, what if I have no brands that I've worked for? What if? Simple. Now, there are 2 things you can do here. I believe that you would have samples. You have samples that you have created as case studies, right? So you can either decide to name drop those brands and state it clearly that these are case studies. Identify them as case studies and not real projects. Don't lie, please. Then number 2, the second thing you can do is that you can eliminate this slide altogether. If you feel like you're at the very early stage of your career where you have not really done anything solid and you don't want to name drop case studies as brands that you've worked for and then start highlighting that they're case studies and you probably don't have certifications right now, you can simply leave this slide. It does not hurt your presentation, your portfolio presentation in any way, right? right? Simply eliminate this and move on to the next. Now, if you're eliminating that, you're going to be on slides 2 to 4. But if you're keeping that slide, you're going to be on slides 3 to 5. Now, so on this slide, what you want to do is you want to showcase your best 3 projects. Now, some people feel, oh, my best 3 projects, is that not me just putting myself in a box? I have like 8 winning projects. It's great, absolutely okay. And you can keep the extra 5 for when these clients want to see more of what you have done, which is rare. If they've seen 3 excellent things that you have done, I think that's enough for a person to say yes or no to you. So pick your 3 best projects. If you are a new copywriter again and you have not done anything that is live yet, pick your 3 best samples. If you're going to pitch anybody, if you're going to apply to any role, I like to believe that you have taken your time and efforts to actually create samples, right? And you want to have a minimum of 2 samples, 2 to 3 samples before you go out there, right? So pick those and showcase it. Now, what you want to do here is you are not showcasing the documents in themselves because, of course, they're pages long, right? You want to simply give us the title of this project. Tell us why you were brought on board, briefly, the problem that you came to solve. What did you do to solve it? What did you do differently? And give a brief walkthrough of your solution process, right? And after this, beneath, you can add a link to this project. If it's live, add a link to the live project. If it's still in a Google document, add a link to the Google documents. If it's a magazine, something digital that these people can see, add a link to it, right? So they can see either the live version or the draft or the sample that you have tucked away in your Google documents. So what you're going to do here, slides 3 to 5, like I said, is showcase your best projects. Don't worry, I'm going to send these slides to Gideon so that you can have it, okay? Now,
Can you try sharing the screen again?
do you want me to try sharing my screen again?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Be like, just look for the share button.
Yeah, I can see that.
You're supposed to get a notification here.
It's still not possible. So I can see my slides winning on the stage as a global creative. I can see the cancel and share option, but the share option is not working. It's gray instead of white. And even sharing my entire screen right now does not even work. Wait.
All right. Okay.
I'm sharing a window. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm seeing. Yeah, you're on.
So I'm just going to move here. Can you see this?
Yeah, we can see this. I can see this now.
Excellent. But can you still see me?
Yeah, we can. You're still seeing me.
Oh, great. It's just that I can't see myself at this point, but I'll take that. All right. So more on slides 3 to 5. Like I said, if this is a live project, you can link it, right? If there are websites, magazines, add the live links. If not, add the live links to your Google Docs. That's okay as well. Right. So the aim with these 3 slides is not just to showcase your best project, but to also tell them the kind of results and improvements that your work brought. So now you were brought on board to tackle this solution. This is what you did. This was the outcome, right? So what these people want to see most importantly is this is the problem. This is how you thought about it. This is what your solution brought. Just those 3 major things, right? Every other thing that you did in between can be summarized with these 3 major bullet points. So if you were brought on board by brand ABC, you saw that their emails, they had lots of subscribers, but they found it really difficult to sell their products to these people. They kept on emailing every day and they were wondering, is there a broken link? What's happening? And then you came on board, you looked at it and you realized that there was no relationship built and their emails were really weak, open rate was drastically low, and this was what you did to fix the open rates, to fix the emails, to build a relationship with the subscribers, and in a time frame, maybe in 30 days, you were able to increase email revenue by what, maybe 83%, 25%, right? These are the statistics that these people are looking out for when viewing what you have done, right? Before deciding if they want to have a look at the live project or the Google document where all of that information is embedded in. Like I said, if you're a new writer who's not worked with real brands before, you can still display your samples and explain them in this form, but be very sure to label each of them as case studies because that is what they are. They are not real projects. Please don't go and lie that a project that was never live was live. Okay, put it there and label it as a case study. See, even writers that get hired by Google and Meta, many of the junior level writers get in with portfolios of case studies. Many of them don't even get in real life projects. Okay, so don't be afraid or ashamed or feel like once people see case study, they're not going to want to work with me. So far, you are applying for junior roles. Anyone who sees case studies know that you are a new writer and you're simply trying to get your foot in the industry. What's important is not whether it was live or not. What's important is that you were absolutely brilliant in executing this, and they want that brilliance on their team, right? So if you're done with slide 1 to 5, we're going to be on to slide 6 to 7. Now, what you're showing us in slide 6 to 7 of your global portfolio are raving testimonials. Now, this is absolutely beautiful when you're working with clients and you have tons of testimonials to show. I personally have a drive of testimonials. I call it testimonials drive, client wins, right? And each time I get a testimonial for a client, I add it to that drive. So you can be like me and do something similar, right? Even after showing your testimonials on here on slide 6 to 7, you can still add a link for them to view more, okay? So they can know that you are not small, right? So, but if you are a new writer and you do not have this, no fuss. You can easily use recommendations from your mentors, from your coaches, right? I started out using a recommendation before I began to accrue testimonials. You can use fire comments from your social media posts. So, those really original and great posts that you put out on X, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on TikTok, emails that you send, the responses that you get, the comments of people saying, "Oh, this was really educational. I did not see email marketing this way," or "I did not used to view email marketing in this way. Your post has really brought a lot of insights into this topic." Take screenshots of those, especially if you're just starting out. They are not the kind of comments that you overlook. You take them because you need them, right? You take those and you actually, for now, those are your testimonials because those are people who have come in contact with your brilliance, with the way you think, with the way you approach topics and situations, and they have those things to say about you. So you use that as the should I say, the starting phase before you begin to get real testimonials from people who have experienced you bringing in millions or thousands, hundreds or billions for their businesses, and they can say, "Oh, this person is really excellent. I paid her this and she brought this amount of results for my business." So before you get there, you have to start somewhere. Do not be ashamed or afraid of starting from the very bottom. That is the only way you can build. You have to start. So the third type of testimonial that you can use are praises from anyone who has seen or experienced your work. Now, if you have colleagues, you have friends, even family members that have seen something that you wrote and they're like, "Wow, this is excellently good. Wow, this is great." Or take those screenshots. You need them for your starting phase. Remember, if you're just starting, you're still at the junior level. Nobody's expecting you to come and say you are holding $500 million in sales. You're still starting, right? But if you do have testimonials that you can start with, slide 6 to 7 is where you want to showcase this kind of testimonials, right? You want to fix your best in these 2 slides. Make it a maximum of 2 slides, please. Nothing more than 2 slides. It's not a crime series, it's a global portfolio. So remember that we're telling a story with all of this, right? And that story can be summarized as "I'm badass, hire me before your competition does." So this is what we're doing in slide 6 and slide 7. So far from slide 1, slide 2, down to slide 7, we have introduced ourselves, or you have introduced yourself. You have talked about what you do, your copywriting process, your core strengths. If you have awards and certifications, you have displayed them. If you have brands that you've worked with, you have name dropped them, right? You have also gone on to showcase your best projects, one project per slide. You've talked about why you were brought on board, what you did to solve the problem, and of course, the solution um, that your thinking process was able to bring for this brand, right? And you have gone on to link this project, whether live or still in your Drive or Google Doc or whatever other tool that you use in sharing them. You have gone on to share testimonials. Now, finally, we're not playing hide and seek. It's time to get these people to work with you. So your final and your eighth slide is how to work with you, right? So for me, how to work with Rachel. For you, could be how to work with, I don't know, Chukudi, how to work with Jonathan, how to work with Chibueze. All right. So now you can name this slide whatever you want. I'm just making it really understandable for you. The most important thing is that you get creative. So here, if you want to provide a way that they can reach you, can they reach you through emails, phone numbers, Calendly bookings, social media handles? How? Start with your most preferred channel. My most preferred channel is always my official email, right? That's why I have email first. So for you, it can be your phone number, it can be your Calendly booking, it can be your LinkedIn portfolio or your LinkedIn DM, right? Anywhere that you are the easiest to reach, also make it professional. You can start with that and you can seal the deal when they reach out. Okay, so final notes for building your global portfolio are these. Number one, remember what I said at the start. Stay original and stay authentic. It can be a bit intimidating, a tad bit intimidating when you're Nigerian and you have a lot of stereotypes, right? You have so many issues, especially when it comes to receiving global payments. Talk less of receiving or working with global clients. There can be a lot to take in at once, but in all of this, do stay original and stay authentic. I promise you, there are creatives from Nigeria winning big on global stages. You need to get your feet into global forums, get yourself into global forums, into global communities. Many of them are free, right? And see your Nigerian brethren doing you proud. So there's so many of them. How did they get there? By being authentically brilliant. So you want to do the same. It helps you win in more ways than I can explain. The second thing is understand that confidence is always the secret sauce. For a beginner or a junior level writer, it can be really intimidating again because you are wondering, I'm just starting. There are people that are miles and years ahead of me. When I started, I felt that way a bit because I was like, wow, so I'm going to go out and start looking for clients. Me, that I'm just starting. What do I know? And there are people that have probably been in this thing for 5 years, for 3 years, I don't know, for 10 years, and they are still trying to get clients sometimes. So, what are the odds that I will be lucky? But in a few months, I got my first clients, right? A few months of discovering copywriting. I think in about the third month, when I started to put myself out there, it took less than 2 months for me to get my first clients. And that's because I believed that I could actually do it. I could pull it off. I always told myself then that what was the worst case scenario? The worst thing that could happen is that I'll create a campaign or a sales letter and it will not work. I'll take it back. Thankfully, I have mentors, I have coaches. I'll take it back, I'll rework it, I'll take their inputs, and we will keep doing this thing until it will work. I had one goal and one mission to make sure that everything that I created worked and brought in results. And of course, with time, they did. So understand that confidence is always a secret sauce. So far, you're confident in what you can do. And of course, be sure that you can do the damn thing. So far, you're confident in what you can do. The sky is simply where you take off. It's not even your limit. Third, forever remain audacious. Audacity is an absolutely beautiful thing, and I think that everybody should have audacity. If you're Nigerian, okay, a lot of us here are Nigerians, and you do not know where to get audacity from, just go and ask Lagos men where they buy their audacity from. They can probably introduce you to their vendor so that you can get some audacity for yourself as well. The rest of the year, we're going into Q3. For the rest of the year, move audaciously. In fact, move so audaciously, people get to ask you, how dare you? Who do you think you are? Move that audaciously. Leap, jump, fly. Okay? Because so many times we tell ourselves no before we even get to hear no from the people that we are trying to reach. We look at certain job applications, we look at certain organizations, and we're like, these people cannot work with me. Why are you telling yourself no before you get to hear no? Try. Okay. And finally, always stay unstoppable. If you receive daily emails from me, you know that this is always how I sign off. always stay unstoppable. Nothing can stop you and no one can stop you if you do not stop yourself. So that's my mantra. And that's a wrap, people. I have overstayed my time. I have to dress up and go for an event in a few minutes. And this is how far I can stay with you tonight. I hope that with everything I've shared and said so far, you've been able to get, even if it's just a tiny bit of value and a tiny bit of clarity on how you can win better on global stages, especially as a creative who is in this not just for impact but also for profits. Okay. And if you want to connect with me, you can find me on the rachaelaugustine.com and we can take it from there. Okay. So thank you, Gideon. And how do I stop sharing this? Jesus Christ.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Richard. This has been a masterclass. This is a masterclass on its own, and we really can't appreciate you enough. I know time is fast spent on your end, and we really need to jump into another meeting. So, what we are going to do right now is the questions can start flowing in for anybody that has a question, and I'm going to reshare the link, the link to your email list in the chat again. And it's like you have an offer.
Sorry to interrupt you, Gideon. It's the rachaelaugustine.com. rachaelaugustine.com is not my domain. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm trying to add the rachaelaugustine.com. Guys, go ahead and subscribe. Now you didn't talk about before I actually let you go, you have an offer which you call it the global copywriter series, if I'm not mistaken. The global copywriter, yeah. So can you briefly talk about that?
Yeah, so because of time, I decided not to go into that. People who are interested, you can sign up. My email is therachaelaugustine.com. You receive daily emails from me, and you get full details on that. So the global copywriter is basically a community, not just a program. I'm starting it off as a live program, and it kicks off June 2nd, 2025, and it will last for a period of 2 to 3 weeks. So this is a program for Nigerian copywriters who want to break into international waters. So if you are looking to land more better global clients, earn globally, and relocate with your skill of writing, this is where you want to be. So I am partnering with a travel consultant with over 8 years of experience to make this program a possibility. And we have lots of destinations that you can go to, that you can pick and select from. There's the study route, the work route, if you want to go as a skilled professional, or if you want to go via the study to stay route. Those routes also work as well. So basically, the global copywriter is your roadmap if you're looking to relocate strategically, earn more, and work globally as a copywriter. But the prerequisite, what you need to get into this community, is that you must know how to create copy that converts. So you must be a copywriter that's already doing. You're not new, you're not just starting, you're not just trying to find your footing. You're someone who can actually write words that bring in results. So those are the people that we're looking out for.
Any type of copyright.
Yeah, any type of copy. It's fine. So far you can use words.
So guys actually based in emails, VSS and stuff. So
if you write emails, if you write sales letters, if you write BSLs, if you write technical letters, all of those are allowed. So far you create any form of copy at all. Presently, you qualify. Okay, so that's all about the global copywriter, and you can find more details when you subscribe to my email list, and I'll write you about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rachel. All right. So the link to subscribe to the email list is on the screen. I believe everyone can see that. So let's hop in, jump in, and take advantage of it. I think the deadline is, you mentioned the deadline.
Also, the program starts 2nd June 2025. So the deadline is June 1st.
June 1st. Okay. So of course we would definitely people will jump right into this. I know so. Right. Right. Thank you so much, Rachel. I think I don't want to delay you any further. I don't know if Nathaniel has anything to say before you zoom up. Nathaniel.
I've not really heard much from him, although he did welcome me quite warmly when you were away.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank you for that. That was, you spat some absolute fire there. I'm definitely signing up to the email list. So yeah, and I'll probably be taking some portfolio advice from you as well. So I would highly recommend that anyone else do that.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
Right. Thank you, Rachel.
All right,
Precious,
so
are you still with us? Yeah.
I'll have to leave now. Thank you, everyone, for having me. Thank
Right.
you, Nathaniel. Thank you, Gideon. And Precious, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
We should do this
Yeah,
again.
I've been here.
All right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, right. Moving on to Nathaniel. Thank you again for staying through. You were about to show us some of the slides about the resources and apps needed to navigate as a global creative and stuff. So we can reshare them. I think the technical issue should have been resolved by now. We can reshare them and take it up from there.
Yeah, of course, absolutely fine. Let me just get back to that. I'll see if I can sort it out.
Okay.
It's telling me the browser has blocked my screen. So just click the screen icon in the address bar. I don't know how to do that. Let me see. Let me just see if this button works any better. Can we all see that? Everyone see? Right. Okay, so we should be good now, right? So I wanted to just share something very quickly. Now, I want to say that before you start worrying about like Zoom calls and setups and everything like that, definitely embody what Rachel has been talking about as far as like the self-belief stuff, like the being unstoppable, and obviously the portfolio. There was some very special sauce that I didn't even know was in that. So I had no idea about that. So worry about that first. Worry about your personal brand and stuff like this. But I want to give you these 3 Zoom call presentation hacks because these are things that I didn't know when I first started that make things a lot easier for you. So when it comes to your video and mic, I would say like test this with your friends and your other creatives, right? So they can tell you if there's an issue or not. Dress appropriately, but there's like no need for a suit and tie. So like, for example, I'm wearing a very casual top now, but it's got long sleeves. Doesn't have to be long sleeved unless it's like a gym top. Like I wouldn't go onto the call with like a wife beater, which is, sorry, a vest in UK. And yeah, just to make sure your background is free, as I said. So there, we're talking about tools. Sorry, wrong slide. So I would say the 3 apps you must have as a creative. I know that Precious touched on some of this earlier. So one of ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and Claude, and because these are essential for like I know that some people use Grok as well. These are just the 3 that I've experimented with and have got on best with. So I would say these are essential for like the speed of research, content creation, ideation, like whatever your process is. Some people like AI to write for them, and then some people will edit after AI is written, and Claude is particularly good for that. Some people like AI to potentially create the whole thing if they've got prompts. And then other people just use it for research and ideation. So say if you've got like blank screen syndrome, which I think we've all had as like as creatives, even if you're like a graphic designer or something, you can still use it for ideas. Or if you're an ad creator, it can be like, okay, what's an idea for this ad? I need to sell this, this, and this. What would be a few good ideas for hooks or something like that? You can give AI these sort of prompts. they'll give you a few ideas, and it might get you off to like writing a good lead, for example. The second one, I was going to say Zoom as paid, because a lot of people don't have a paid Zoom subscription. Doesn't necessarily have to be Zoom, but the reason why I think Zoom is like the best quality video call, and without Zoom, all your calls will have to be 45 minutes or shorter if you got the free version. I actually had an interesting situation where like a client from India had actually agreed to work with me. So I was on a call with him. I was very prepared for it. Like I'd demonstrated exactly how I was going to help him with his funnel. And then basically, because the call time ran out, I didn't actually get on to telling him how much money there was going to be involved. And he was really happy to pay. But then when I sent an invoice for how much it was going to be, he was like, what? Like, I didn't know it was going to be that much. Whereas we would never have had that problem if the call had just gone on longer. And I felt I had to sort of rush that bit. And I was like, okay, I'm going to send you an invoice. And I didn't get to actually discuss the amount it was going to be. So this is really important. Like I would say it's a very small investment. Like Zoom, I would prioritize getting paid Zoom before paying for a really good camera, like honestly. And yeah, Schedule app is, you know, as most of you probably know about, it's like Calendly or Google Meet. When you're working with clients at like global time slots, you need to have a way of tracking what the time is. Because if you say 6 p.m. and then you tell them in your country that's 10 p.m., but then actually you've got the hour wrong, for example, there's no way that can really be reconciled, because they'll get on the call at the wrong time and so will you. Whereas when you've got a scheduling app, that I would say is sort of the bread and butter of what you need. And then I've got a few interesting things that I use here personally. So like 3 underrated gems I've put here. But we've got Loom, which is like, I'm sure most of you know what it is by now, but it's very, very valuable. And again, it's only like, you can do up to 25 videos for free. So even if you want the free version, just do up to 25 videos. The problem is they have to be within like 5 minutes, I think. So if you use the free version, just delete the videos. Once you get up to 25 Loom videos, just basically delete ones that you don't need and then start creating more. Just for anyone that doesn't know what Loom is, I'm sure most of you probably do by now if you're creative, because in this space, I feel like you learn that quite quickly. But it's basically something that you can use where your face is in the corner of the screen, and then you can share your screen as well. So then you can demonstrate something to a prospect. So if you want to change something on their website, you can demonstrate how you would do it. Or if you want to say if I'm an email copywriter and I want to rewrite an email, I can send the client a Loom video saying, this subject line says this, but it's a little bit generic, so let me make it more specific by saying this. So then you can actually show them your process on a Loom video, and that actually avoids quite a lot of awkwardness. Like if you are to get on a call with these prospects, they kind of already know a little bit about you. So Loom is really useful for that. Square Invoices is just an alternative to Stripe. Like most people use Stripe, but if you are a beginner, Stripe is very expensive and it's not always that user friendly, I would say. Like you kind of need to get used to it for a bit. Whereas Square is very self-explanatory and it's, in my opinion, a lot easier to use. Like I still use it now, to be honest. Something else that I was going to talk about was this is something that I learned from Sean Ferris, who's an Australian copy coach, but it's Newsfeed Eradicator, and it's a Google extension. And what it is it will help you eliminate the distractions from Facebook. So Facebook is like your main platform. I'm sure LinkedIn probably has like a similar extension. Unfortunately, I've not found that yet. But this basically helps you eliminate your newsfeed. So say, for example, I'm going to show you guys actually. So if I open up my Facebook now, and you've got all this different stuff, like I could easily get very distracted by all of the crap that I'm seeing here, right? But what if, instead of doing that, I go onto my extensions and I go undistracted. And then I'll go hide feed, so then I can't see anything, right? And once I refresh this page, got literally no feed at all, right? And then I can also go in my ad finder. Didn't mean to do that. I'll wait for it to load up for a second. So what this is going to do is this is tailored to my algorithm as well. So if you're someone who's searching for ads that you potentially want to model, or you want to find prospects, this is a really like cheeky little way to do that. So you can install Ads Finder as an extension on your Facebook, and then basically you speak to your phone like you're your prospect. So say for example, like you want to check on the health, you want to write for the health niche, for example, and you want to write for guys that want to get jacked. You can say to your phone, pretend that you are that guy, like rant for like 5 minutes. Just say, oh, I've tried everything. I've tried cross training. I've tried weights. I've tried everything. I've tried martial arts. I've tried dieting. I've tried low carb, high protein. There's just no way I can't get that 6-pack that I want. No one ever notices me when I walk into a room because I'm not jacked. And you start saying all these things and your phone will listen to you. So then it will tailor the ads to what you're saying. And then basically, if you use Ad Finder, it will start. So I recently started talking to my phone about finance and real estate, which is why all of this stuff's coming up. So I've got a lot of property ads and then a lot of money ads. So I started talking to it about that. That's like a cool little hack if you're a copywriter or somebody that works frequently with ads as well. So these are just 2 little tools that Sean Ferrer shared with me. I was doing his, I think it was his 5-day challenge, and he's got that on one of the videos. And that was one of the coolest things that I've seen, to be honest. Gideon, did you want to share anything? Did you want me to continue with some of the slides? Gideon, can you hear me? Guys in the comments, can you hear? Can you hear what I'm saying? Okay, great. Okay, that's good to know. Right, as Gideon, you can hear me, fantastic. Okay, Precious, did you sort of have anything to add on to that, or is there any other tools like that that you sort of want to share? You've gone silent again, Gideon, I think. Yeah, I still can't hear you. What I'll do is I'll go into a little bit more of my presentation, if you guys are okay with that. I'm going to give you guys some like sales call tips, because one thing that I know, because this is a webinar about creatives, and as creatives, we tend to be doing what we're doing because we're introverted and we want to hide away from the world. Unfortunately, when we're talking about sales calls, we have to speak to people. All right. So there's not really any way around that. So that's why I want to sort of share this with you guys today. So let me just share this real quick. So yeah, most creatives hate sales calls, right? As I've just said, I think that But I'm going to sort of show you like a way to use that to your advantage. So like I said, most creatives are introverted. So naturally we hate talking to people, and I'm no different to any of you. I really didn't like, when I first started with copywriting, I really hated the idea that in order to make money, I was going to have to speak to people on Zoom calls. And that was one of the things that, like, when I first got started doing it, that was one of the things that nearly made me quit, honestly. Like, I was getting on Zoom calls and I didn't know what to say. And I would over talk as a result of that, and you'd sort of get these long, awkward silences. So the advantage of being an introvert in this situation is because we don't like talking, we tend to be exceptional listeners and observers. And what that means is that we're intuitive, we listen to people. Because we're not talking, we're observing what's going on and we're listening. So the way that you can use this to your advantage, like for me personally, I like to use the 80-20 rule with my clients. So they should be talking like 80% of the time, with me only talking 20%. And what that means is I'm doing a lot of listening, which means I need to have questions that I want to ask them, because I'm qualifying them to work with me. And that's another way you can sort of flip. I talked a little bit earlier about the business owner to employee mindset. Employee to business owner mindset. And that's another way that you can flip it, is by framing it like, I'm not there to get paid by them. I'm there to see if they're the right fit to work with me. And that's kind of a good reframe to take into sales calls. I had a situation where there was a fitness coach, really nice guy, sold some nutrition products, sold some fitness products, but he only had like an email list of like 500 people. And he only sold products through like affiliate links. So I just said, look, I don't think this is a fit. I really like the guy and I would have liked to have helped him. But he was ready to pay me on that day. Like, he was ready to pay me the price that I'd quoted him. And I was like, you know what? Like, there's just not, you don't have enough lead generation. You're not that certain about what you want to offer. So I don't think it's something where I can really help you. And that's definitely something that going into sales calls, you've got to have that in mind to a degree, because you need to be able to say no. So I'm just going to say this as well. So this won't come naturally to you, right? Excuse me. So when it comes to sales calls, practice makes perfect. So the more that you do them, the better you'll get at them. You're not going to get really good at sales calls by not doing sales calls. So the more of them you can get on in like the early days of being a creative, the better. You'll be more comfortable speaking to people online. Sorry guys, I'm having a bit of a moment, bit of coughing. So yeah, I'm going to give you guys one of the things that Gideon sort of told me to talk about was like soft skills, which is to do with like, this is nothing to do with copywriting. This is to do with like how you communicate with people, right? So one of the ones that I had was to research your prospect, and by that I mean go through their social media, go through their website. If you can, find something that they're interested in. So an easy one, for example, if you're working from a client from the USA, or you're pitching a US prospect and you get on a sales call with them, you can say, so what do you think of Trump's tariff rampage? And there you've asked it, so it's not a loaded question. You're not imposing your opinion on it. So they can, whether they like Trump or they don't like Trump, they can go either way with it. And you can just sort of not agree with them or agree with them, and it doesn't really matter. But something like this just personalizes the call, and it sort of avoids that awkward moment at the start where you don't know what to say. So it's an immediate rapport builder. Likewise, if you see that they like football or they like some kind of sport, ask them a question about that. In the UK, that's a really good one. If you're working with a prospect from the United Kingdom, try asking them about football, especially if they've like expressed an interest in it. If that's not the case, ask them a question about a post they posted recently. So say, what you said really inspired me. Can you, how did you learn this lesson? Like, can you tell me more about how you learned this? And then that way you're trying to learn from them. That immediately makes them think, this person isn't just pitching me. So you also want to have other questions, like obviously business related questions. So if you're a email marketer or any other type of copywriter, you want to be asking them what they're doing at the moment for their marketing. So for example, what's the current size of your email list, or is your email list fully organic, or have you got it that size by paid ads? And how many emails are you sending out a month? All these kind of questions are good, right? So have some questions that you need to ask, and then have in mind what you want the answer to be. Because if the email list, as an email marketer, I know personally that if the email list is under a certain number, I'm not working with that person. And if, you know, if the email list is not healthy, then I know that I'm going to have to charge more, because it's going to be harder for me to get those results. Now, third thing, get super comfortable with silences. So not silences at the start of the call where it might be a bit awkward, but when you're sort of talking, then don't be afraid to pause before you go on to the next thing. And when you're talking about your price point, so say I quote someone $1,500 for an email marketing funnel, I'm going to stay silent after I say that, because then that makes them think. I don't then have to, you know, when I was first a copywriter, I would get on sales calls and I'd be like, go for a sales page, that's £500. And then I would take a couple of seconds, I'd be like, oh, but I can do it as a discount for 50%. Because I was uncomfortable with the silence. So make sure that you get comfortable with silences on a call, especially during pricing. Now, Gideon also wanted to talk to me a little bit about self-care. Now, self-care, in my opinion, is an overused word, but it's also a really important part of what you do. So here are 3 self-care weapons that I use to stay in the zone. And normally it takes me under 50 minutes to do all these things. So you don't, if you're not religious, this one doesn't matter, this first one, but it's good to, in my opinion, it's good to believe in something that's bigger than yourself. So like for me, I do believe there's a God, and I do believe there's a higher power. And I do believe that that is directing me. And I do believe that I have a purpose within that. And that for me makes it easier for me. So I normally try and do this one first thing in the morning, because it sets you up for the day. So you go outside and you pray, or you meditate, or you just talk about, you know, maybe you just say thank you to whatever you believe in, or even if you believe in nothing, just say to yourself, I'm thankful for this ground that I stand on. I'm thankful for this fresh air on my cheeks. I'm thankful for the fact that I'm fed today. Or I've got a roof over my head, or whatever it is that you are thankful for. Think about that, because that'll put you in a good headspace. And as business people, we need this. This is a tough game that we're in. This is not an easy thing that we're doing. It's very easy to get in your own head and get negative. So this one is really important, I would say. So exercise. Again, you don't have to be like, I'm not talking about like lifting weights or being Arnold Schwarzenegger or like being some bodybuilder. And it doesn't even have to be long. My personal preference is to do like HIIT workouts that last about 10 to 15 minutes, because that gets my blood pumping and it makes me feel like I've done something for the day. You know, you can go running, or you can do an indoor workout. You know, if you do want to go to the gym, then by all means do that, good for you. Just anything to help your body stay active. Get that blood pumping, get that endorphin rush into you, because that's very good. Like you need those like very real endorphins, because that's one of the only things that we can control in this world. Then the third one, as you can see, is outdoor time. So just make sure that you take some time, spend at least 20 to 30 minutes outdoors per day. This does help you clear the mind. I think this is probably easier where some of you guys are at than it is for me, because obviously in the UK it's cold for a lot of the year. I don't know if it's the same where you guys are at. I think that a lot of it's probably hotter in Nigeria for the most part, I would say, and Ghana and other places within Africa and in Asia. I think most of those places are hotter than the UK. So this one will be a little bit easier, but just make sure you're not shirking. Like, obviously we're spending a lot of time in front of our laptops, but don't shirk that outdoor time, because we need that. We all need that as humans, and it's something that's very easily neglected. So here we go. I'm not gonna talk about the portfolio, because I think that Rachel did such a good job. I can't really follow that in any way. I am going to talk about pricing though, and I want to talk about a little something that I call the 1000% rule. So what I mean by this is, when you price your services, you need to be looking at the 1000% rule. So what this means is that you should be aiming to provide your client around 1000% ROI for your services, which means 10 times the money that they paid. So if, for example, if a client is making like 30K a month from email marketing, you complete an email funnel for them, and then they make 60K, $60,000. So they've made an extra 30,000. So the correct price for that funnel would be 3K, 10x return on investment for the client. So that's what you need to be looking at. And this is why it's important to ask these questions at the start of the sales call, because once you start getting more experienced, you'll know from the size of the email list how scalable is this offer. And obviously, if you're running ads, you can know from how successful the previous ads have been and how many leads they're bringing in. You can know from that how scalable the offer is. So you can't be obviously your prices are your prices, but I don't think you should be charging 5K, for example, for a funnel that is only ever going to make 10K. Like, so say it's a really small list, unless you've got it within your service to grow the list as well. And sometimes that is the case. Sometimes you add other things in there. But just for one project that's going to make 10K, you shouldn't then be charging 5K. That's my take on it. You should be looking for at least a 10x return. So you should, ideally, you want to have that written down with your client. What is it that you want from this? Like, what's your goal? What's the next goal that you want to achieve? That's what you ask your client. And then you try and find a way to help them achieve that. And, maybe if they say that it is just to make another 10K, you charge them 1K for what you're going to do. Or, you try and fix them a low ticket offer that's going to be a lesser amount of money. I'm going to talk more about that later. But a lower ticket offer, so they can sort of try it out and see how it works. And then they can potentially pay the 1K later, or they can pay you more later if you make even more than 10K, right? So it's just a basic way to value your services, and that's something that I kind of picked up from a former Agora copywriter quite early on. He was basically saying that there was you should always be looking to make a client 10 times the amount of money that they're paying you. So we're going to go other pricing tips. So pricing, I know that it's daunting, right? I understand that, like, pricing, when you're first asking people for money, it's a very daunting concept, especially if you've never worked before, or if you've worked a 9-to-5 your whole life, like I did before I started this. Asking for money feels very weird, and it feels very uncomfortable. So these are a few ways that you can basically get around that, right? So you need to have an idea of what your prices are going to be before you enter onto a sales call. But like I say, please bear in mind, like I say, the 1000% rule, okay? So always priced in US dollars. And the reason why I say that is because most global entrepreneurs are aware of the US dollar as the main currency. Like, most English entrepreneurs that I know price in US dollars, most European ones price in US dollars. So that's kind of a universal language that they all speak. So I would say always know what the price is in US dollars. So if your client is from like somewhere unusual, and by that I mean like quite a big country like Australia or Canada, because they've got their own dollars. So when you're talking about dollars with them, it's probably worth checking before the call what your normal price would be in their currency. So what I will say is this as well. I've said this here. I've said never discount your services on a Zoom call. And as I said before, after you name your price, you stay silent and you stand your ground. You're a business owner. You're not an employee. It's not for them to tell you, no, I'm not going to pay that. I'm going to pay this. You tell them what the price is, and it's up to them. If they don't want to pay it, then that's fine. And I'm going to give you a couple of little tips here as well. So if a client has an issue paying up front, there's 3 things that you can do. And one of them is actually something you can do before the call even starts. So here we go. 3 things you can do if your client discusses money. So you can walk away, right? And this is obviously depending on what they've said on the call, how much you like what they offer. So if it's an offer you really think you're going to enjoy writing for, or say you really want experience in the health niche and this is the only health niche client you've managed to get on a call with, okay, fair enough, that might not be the best option, but often it is. And I remember there was a time where I was on a call with this guy and he started talking about, I was basically talking about doing a sales page for him. I'd made a Loom video for him up front, and then I'd chased him for about 2 months to get on a call. I got on a call with him, and I think I was just desperate for him to be my next client. And I liked the idea of what he was doing, but the reality is he'd never sold online before, all right? So, and he didn't have that much of an idea about marketing. And he asked me to do this this sales page, and I was like, okay. And I said, well, I normally charge £500 for that. And then I ended up discounting it to $250. I think I might have mentioned this earlier on the call as well, but the best situation there would have been to walk away, because all that happens when you've got a client who doesn't want to pay money up front, normally you'll find that those clients will also never be happy with what you provide. Like this guy, he paid £250 for a sales page, like a full long-ass sales page that was about 10 pages long. And then he wanted to make amendment after amendment after amendment. And he'd already basically outlined what he wanted the sales page to be and said, look, I don't know what I'm doing, so you do it. So then I changed it to what I thought was better. And then he ended up changing it to what he thought was best anyway. So that's basically the upshot of that. So those clients are often not even worth entertaining. So second thing, have a low ticket option. So if you're an email marketer, or if you're a sales page creator or something, or you're a copywriter or graphic designer, whatever it is, have like a lower ticket option. So if you've got one main thing that you sell, like if it's a full email marketing funnel, or say you're going to design their ads for a whole month, have something which is lower, less work for you and cost less for them. So for example, say I'm going to give them 30, say I'm a graphic designer, I'm going to give this person like, I don't know, 50 ad designs in a month. And then I'm going to charge them, I don't know, $2,000 for it. I can maybe give them a good deal and say, look, I can have a low ticket option in mind prior to the call. So then I can say, if they don't want to do this straight away, sorry, that's the police. I think they might be coming for me. So yeah, I'm going to do you 10 ads and I'm going to charge you, I don't know, $500. And if you like them, we can talk about more. And that's always a good way as well, to start with like a lower price. Like if the client is sort of a bit iffy about your full funnel, have a lower ticket option. So that's what I would say. Don't discount the big thing that you're doing. So if you're doing an email marketing funnel, for example, and you want to charge $3,000, don't say, oh, just for you, I'm going to do 1,500, because then they're just going to think they can mug you off. And again, it lowers your value as a business owner. So don't do that. Just say, well, okay, well, I can either do you 40 emails for 3,000, or I can do, I don't know, 15 emails for 1,500, or I can do 20 emails for that. Whatever it might be, just figure out a price that works for something that's less, and it's less work for you. Don't reprice your original offer. Now, thing number 3. You can provide discounts in some situations, but the only time I would do it is where it makes sense to do it. So if you want to say, what you can say to them, if they're a bit iffy about paying up front, you say, look, well, understand you're iffy, Mr. Client, about paying this much up front, but how about if instead of paying me 3,000 up front, you pay me 1,500, but then every penny of profit you make after 30,000, I want 10% of that profit. And then you basically write that into a contract as well. So I would always say that if you're going to do a deal like this, put it in writing, because then they can't really screw you over. And also make sure you've got control of the CRM and everything is integrated. Otherwise you don't know what's been you don't know how many purchases have been made or how many calls have been booked or whatever the situation is. If you don't know the results, then you can't charge accordingly with this. Again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this as like a beginner strategy, but this is quite a good strategy. Like if you're with a client that's been burned before by a copywriter, say it's not really, they don't have the money. They do have the money, but they've just been burned by a lot of copywriters before. But then you're quite experienced and you know how to do the job, you know how to get it done. This is quite a good way to do it. So you provide a 50% discount, and then I'm going to take a profit share of, like I say, 10%. A lot of the time that works out better for you anyway than the original retainer, because if the offer absolutely crushes, it will do better than what it would have done, and then your 10% will probably end. You know, it will be worth more than what the original offer was. So sometimes it's worth doing that, but not for beginners. I wouldn't do that if you're a beginner. Right, so I'm going to give you guys a prospecting bonus. So I'm going to do like a little live activity now. So if you go into your favorite AI tool, I personally use DeepSeek for this, right? So if you go into the search bar and then you type in, let me just do it now real quick. So you go, please list me 100 online offer owners in your favorite niche industry who regularly run ads and email campaigns. So for example, I'm going to say, please list me 100 online offer owners in the, what space should we go to? Fitness industry. Who regularly run ads and email campaigns. Then ask DeepSeek to do some work for me. And usually it will come up with that straight away. So here's a curated list. And just like that, we're going to get like 100 people within probably a couple of minutes, right? So if you look at this straight away, I can literally now type, just pick Scott Herman randomly. So I'll I need to take my to be fair, you take my undistracted thing off. So if I get my feedback, I'll probably be able to find him. So yeah, Scott Herman, you can tell that he's quite a legitimate prospect, 606k followers. So I'm going to follow him. It's more than just up and down, not hitting a dead hang. Top of that pool now. I'm just going to go, that form is absolute. And I'm just going to put fire emoji. Have I got a fire emoji? I think I do somewhere. In fact, I'll just say fire. That seems like it's going to be quicker. And then I'll just go, thank you for sharing. That's right. I don't want this. Scott Herman. Where's he bloody gone now? Scott Herman, there we go. I'll put an exclamation mark. See what I'm doing there, the reason why I'm tagging him is because that will give his page 2 notifications instead of just the one that I've commented on it. So that will mean that I'm mentioning him as well. So that will mean that I have a potential chance now of interacting with him on this post. And then in a couple of days, if I haven't liked any more of his stuff, I'll probably pitch him. I'll just like send a video DM and be like, hey, I'm Nathaniel, I'm a copywriter, blah, 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 right? So that's how easy it can be to find prospects. And I know that when I got started, it was really hard for me to find prospects who were good for me, right? Whereas this is going to tell you, this is going to give you some absolute fire to pitch immediately. And another thing that you can do, say if you're a bit intimidated, right? So you're a bit of a, you're a beginner and you're a bit intimidated by the situation. You can always go like, can you list me 100 who are less famous? Oh, not got the number in there. Who are less famous? So now there we go. So you've got more here as well. So again, that's potentially, I mean, obviously they might not all have Facebook, and I use LinkedIn as well. So you can always look at both, or Instagram if you've got that as well. Most of the time, someone will be on one of those three. But yeah, that's a really good way to like look for prospects. And say if you've got an ideal prospect, like we'll say the one that we've just picked, for example, Scott Herman. You can always say, give me 100 fitness offer owners like Scott Herman. And then I'm going to stop it in its tracks because it's already doing some other shit now. So yeah, unfortunately, I've not let it get to its full capacity there. So yeah, you can already see that it's probably going to give me some of the same people, but it will give me some different people. So you can use this for any niche. What I'll do is I'll send this slide to Gideon as well, so you can sort of play around with that yourself. Another thing is, don't be afraid to argue with it. So you can do what I said. So if AI seems like confused by what you're saying, you can make it obvious. You can be like, I'm a marketer, or I'm a copywriter, or I'm a graphic designer, or I'm looking for prospects who I can work with that in mind. And then you go straight back to the previous prompt, list me 100 offer owners who blah, 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 right? So that's sort of my secret sauce. I've not actually shared that with anyone, but I don't want to say it's quite a simple thing. So I don't want to say that nobody else is doing it, but I haven't heard anyone else say that they're doing it. So it's kind of quite an interesting trick that I use to like get more prospects on my list. So my last thing that I'm going to say, I'm going to give you guys like a recommended watch and reading list. If I'd have known how much fire Rachel was going to spit and how much, how amazing Precious has been as well, I'd have added both of those guys to your watch list. Obviously, I didn't have that knowledge at the time. So my current watch list, I've got Bedros Keuilian, who's a mindset and business coach. I would say small doses, because he can rip you a new one sometimes. But I would say great for like motivational talk. The female alternative of this, if you're a woman, would probably be somebody like Mel Robbins, or like I say, Rachel Augustine, or Precious on the call as well. Alex Hormozy, like I say, amazing for sales tips and big business advice. Again, small doses, because he talks a lot of nonsense, but he'll say if you want to learn how to get good at sales calls, Alex Hormozy is a great one to follow, because he'll talk to you about like, he came up with this concept once about like a no question. So say I want to go to a restaurant with my girlfriend, and say it's Nando's, right? I'll just do one that everyone knows. And if I just say, do you want to go to Nando's tonight? She'll be like, I don't know, I don't really fancy it. But say if I go, would you be against going to Nando's tonight? She'll be like, oh, well, I'm not against it. And then suddenly that's a better frame for me to enter. And you can use that on your sales call to your prospect. So if you're at a stage where like they like what you're doing, but you don't really have like a start date, you can be like, you can say things like, for example, would it be unreasonable for us to start tomorrow? Would it be unreasonable for me to start researching on this tomorrow? Or would it be unreasonable for me to send you an invoice today and then we'll get started on work tomorrow? And then they're going to say, oh, no, it wouldn't be unreasonable. Instead of saying, well, do you want to start tomorrow? Oh, okay, that sounds a bit soon. So it's kind of a different way to frame a question. And that's quite an interesting thing that I learned from him. The other three that I'm going to talk about are all marketers. So Daniel Throssell, one of the best email marketers ever, like literally my favorite copywriter. Like if you're anti-AI, this is your guy. Like his emails are absolute fire. Like there's no one else that I've ever seen that has been able to deliver emails that they break every rule that everyone else talks about, but then he still keeps you engaged the whole way through. And I'm talking like really long emails as well. He's not writing short emails that are skimmable. He's writing like these long ass emails, and you're always engaged. So second one is an unknown one, Adil Amarsi. He's like I believe Iranian Englishman. So yeah, I think he's Iranian, but he's brought up and lives in England. And he's one of the best marketers alive, but he's not really known that well. So he's well worth following as well on Facebook and LinkedIn, and his email list is excellent as well. Matthew Volkwin, who's one of the guys that I've kind of learned from over the years, and he has a camp for copywriters, like an academy for copywriters called Copy Base Camp, and it's only $50 a month, and it's like the best deal you can get out there, I would say. Because he's also got amazing tips on his YouTube channel, but Copy Base Camp is like where it's at as far as like learning fundamentals. And he's got some like interviews with some of the top guys in the world as well. So that's pretty much it for me. So I'll just thank you all for listening. And I know that like obviously Rachel spat some absolute fire earlier. So I don't want to say that I've topped to that, but hopefully you guys will be able to take some value from what I've done today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nathaniel. Thank you, Nathaniel. Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. This is actually exhaustive. I mean, it's exhaustive, and you literally bore everything to us. Talking about the copywriters you follow, Daniel Thorstrom is also one of my favorites. I mean, he's an Australian. I think he has to be Australian's top performing marketer, and he nails it. Definitely gonna check out the others you recommended. The Iranian guy, and then the one that his name looks like Russian. I don't know if he's Russian. The last guy.
Oh, Matthew Volkwin.
Yeah, right. So that's definitely some gold there. I don't know. Do we still have Precious? Precious, are you still here, or as we're wrapping up, you're already wrapping things up? Yeah. I don't know. Probably Nathaniel. Before Rachel left, she dropped some of the source for us. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to it, like where we can connect with you. If you have any low ticket offer, if you have any any templates or giving us for free, any paid templates, stuff like that.
Oh, for me personally?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I can show you like a low ticket offer that I developed a few months ago. Let me just log into my Google Docs real quick. Hang on. Let me see.
Okay, while you are getting that up, let me check on Precious. Precious, are you still there? All right. I thought you must have left or something. Okay. Before we get to Precious, are you trying to share your screen, Nathaniel?
Yeah, I am. I'm just let me know if you can see it. Yes, this is my personal low ticket offer. So yeah, this is just the no BS offer. So I've just gone 10 emails to engage your email list. So, and I've basically made sure that they're a business owner who has a certain amount of contacts. I probably wouldn't even work with someone. Say if it was 1K, I probably would change that to 10 now. just because of experience. And I make sure 7 or more awesome testimonials. So it's just making sure that their offer's legit, first of all. And then a sales page or a VSL. I'd probably widen that a little bit if I was to redo this, but this is from a few months ago. But so basically, there's 5 value-based emails and 5 emails which have your prospect salivating over every line until they click. So I've basically almost written this in like a kind of way that's like copy. So I've tried to keep them engaged whilst I've been writing the document. But this is just a way to kind of price your offer, and then I've given them a few free bonuses as well. So 3 reel scripts for Facebook or YouTube, which are 30 seconds long. 1 free LinkedIn newsletter or website blog article. Again, I'd probably change that now just in view of what's going on in the world. And then a free 5-step landing page framework. This is something that would only really work if they're, for example, if they're somebody who likes to write their own copy sometimes and they want to write their own landing page or something like that. This might help. So these are just free bonuses, but I always tell, if I offer this to someone on the call, I always say these are optional, because if we've been talking about email marketing the whole time, they might not want this shit, okay? And it's more time for them having to put it into their CRM system. So you've got to respect business owners' time as well. But then I've just basically put a book a call link here, and then like the total cost is £500. If they want to do it with CRM management for all these 10 emails, then it would be £1,000. So that's just a simple low ticket, and then my high ticket is about 2,000. So it kind of works out in a way that it's like cheaper than what I would normally charge, if that makes sense. But it's a nice way that I can still show some value for them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my low
could
ticket.
you probably share? Can you probably share us the link so we can put it in the chat for anybody?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do it now. Let me just sort that.
Okay. So we will be right. Precious is here. Apologies for the little network inconsistencies. Precious is here. So Precious, one final question. We are wrapping up already, and I know a lot of the speakers have said most of the things that are actually going to be shared. But do you have any final tips? Especially in terms of pricing negotiation, that you feel will help. It can be like based off of what you have seen, based off what you have experienced, anything that can help us. Pricing negotiation. I mean, it's something you talk about a lot.
Okay, something like talk about it a lot. And interestingly, like I was about touching on that. So when you're even answering that question, like I just said a lot because a whole lot of creatives have been like are underpaid. We're putting a whole lot of work. We're doing a lot of work. We know how to shop. We know how to build our brand. We put ourselves out there. We are connecting, coding, and all that. We do a whole lot of stuff. But we don't focus on knowing how to close. A lot of creatives are especially copywriters. We don't want to learn how to close this, how to negotiate, and that is where the big money is. Yes, you show up, you build your brand, personal brand, clients reach out to you, you get this deals. But if you don't know how to negotiate, if you don't know how to close deals, if you don't know how to set up pricing and all that, it affects you. You remain stagnant with your income level. In fact, it affects how you talk to clients, how you close this, how you negotiate the salary. It affects every part, every part. It's really quite important as you're investing time marketing, as you're investing time building your personal brand. One thing I think copywriters creatives need to focus on is learning how to negotiate, learning how to, yes, you set your pricing. How do you create a win-win? Hello. Okay.
Yeah, we are with you. Precious, we can hear you.
Sorry, give me a minute. Let me change.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
Okay. So while you're trying to get Precious on board, we can. Here's Nathaniel's offer. I think I shared it in the WhatsApp group as well. So probably if you cannot copy the link here, you can check the WhatsApp room. So yeah.
All right.
Um.
Okay, I'm back now. Sorry for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Think about negotiating payment for your service. How to set pricing. Don't just or I know I'm good. You've learned how to be good. You know how to give results, and you are underpaying yourself. You are being undervalued. All right. So I always I can list three things because of time. I'll just list three things just to round off. I will recommend things for you to get that will help you. Trust me, you need to learn how to negotiate. It is where the big money is. A client will not pay you $10,000 or $5,000 because you send them a quote or you send them your proposal. No, nobody has money to give away just like that. People don't pay you what you are worth. They pay you what you ask. So you have to negotiate it. They pay you when you negotiate. So it's not like, oh, I'm being paid, oh, I'm supposed to be paid my word. You can work from anywhere you are. You can work from your local third world country anywhere you are and earn well if you know how to negotiate. So people will not pay you what you are worth. They don't know you. They don't know what you are worth. You have to tell them and how well you can let them pay you what you are worth. How well you negotiate this. All right. I think I'm going to switch off my camera because I'm having issues. I hope that's fine. I can
Yeah, no
just go,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
To wrap this up because of time, the first thing I would say, do your findings. Don't start talking about prices when you are completely ignorant of the market price. Do your findings. I know the first time I was asked to um, write a website copy for our microfinance bank. I've not done a website copy before. The long sales time kind of copy girl. I write short form copy, but I've not done WhatsApp copy. One thing I had to do was reach out to a colleague that I know is into website copy. I was able to get a very price. I checked online and all that. So that's what you should do. Don't start talking about price because you might say a price that is so below market price and the clients will start doubting you. So don't say price unless you show like at least have an average, like what's the average price in the market, because it's very vital because price creates a perception about you to the prospect. Any amount you say, it creates a perception. So it's not even price. Pricing is beyond numbers. It's more of perception. So it's really important. So once you've done this, you should cap your words. Know how, like have a cap. Choose your price based on the results you can give, and don't be afraid to ask what you know you are worth. Clients don't know what you are worth. You are the one telling them this is what I want through this email. And as Nathaniel has explained how you can come in different ways. You can come in through profits, you can come in through a low-end offer. So using all that, it's going to help you. The next thing is prepare a good negotiation pitch. Don't go into negotiations, don't go into a proposal without having a good negotiation pitch. You can't force your price on your prospects. You have to negotiate your way. Yes, anticipate the objections and arguments. It will come. So you have to practice how to counter them. If you're a copywriter, so I expect you to know how to handle objections already. It's a it's a piece of cake for you. So prepare a negotiation fee that you can cancel objections. This is why learning the art of negotiation is very important. Everyone, no matter the skill or injury, whether it's email, no matter what you do, it helps you down to your communication from clients to your colleagues to people. You need it. It's very important. Lastly, don't forget to end with a win-win. Be willing to walk away if the deal is not fair to you, like Nathaniel said. I think I heard him saying that. Find ways to make the deal fair to you. If it's not fair to you, be willing to walk away. Value your time and your effort, no matter the price. End with a win-win. The client is happy, you are also happy. Any project you are working on where the client is happy and you're not happy, you will get frustrated and it will affect your delivery of that project. It will show in how you deliver that project. So mention that if you're working on it and you're happy, not that you're working on something and you're like, I'm just doing this, like you're working with frustration. Let it end with a win. So when you handle that project, you know you are giving it your all. So I think that's all I can say because of time. I'm just rounding up. I
Yeah.
will recommend other things to direct you on how to master the art of negotiation. If you really want to learn how to negotiate better, to fix pricing
Yeah.
for you.
Yes, you have a course, if I'm not mistaken, a course or an ebook. Um, you can probably talk more about it. If there's a link, a URL or something, we can, share it and um, yeah. And then you're working
All
on
right.
something as well. So yeah.
All right. Fortunately, I just put out an offer on social media like an hour ago. So it's for like a 24 hours offer. I'm giving an opportunity to get access to recorded trading and how to negotiate better. It is a pay anything you can afford. I'm giving it for 24 hours. Like just see it as my own gift to everyone here. You have an opportunity to pay anything you can afford, like, and get this training. It's very important. Like, I'm not trying to use marketing on you. It's really important because people will not pay you boy, and they, like, you have to make them believe it's fair, no matter if it's a $50 deal, $5,000 deal, $50,000 deal. Once they believe it's a fair price and it's a win-win, they will pay. That's the reason you need to learn how to negotiate, no matter what you saw. I'll share the link with
Okay.
Gideon and get it across to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think if you can send the copy again, you can send it to me. Hello, Precious. Precious. Okay, I think we lost Precious the network. But what we are going to do is that we are actually going to share this pay as you. It's actually for 24 hours. So I'm going to get a copy, get the payment details, and um, send it to the WhatsApp link. And it's advisable everybody grab vengeance from this. All right. So basically, um, hi Precious, are you back?
Yes, I'm here now.
Okay, so I was requesting if you can send the copy and then the details so that we can put them here and then in the WhatsApp room, for those that
I'll
want
share
to
with you
binge on
now.
it. Wow. All right, all right, all right. So
Maybe your WhatsApp.
I think yes, please. So we can just repost them in the group. So I believe we've learned so much. We spent literally 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken, almost 3 hours. Yeah, almost 3 hours. This is 2 hours 43 minutes. Yeah, and it has been a mind blowing session for me. For me personally, this has been a mind blowing session. What these guys have um, shared, what these guys, our speakers, have shared from Rachel, Nathaniel, Precious. You can't get this anywhere else. I mean, 2 hours 43 minutes of your time sharing your practical steps, strategies, and stuff like that. Just like I mentioned in the group, how you are going to benefit from this is when you implement. Okay, Richard Augustine has a global copywriting program. I shared the email link. I'm going to redo that again. Um, so that you can grab it again, the URL to subscribe to Rachel Augustine's email list, to know more about the global copywriting program. I just shared Nathaniel Pendel's low ticket offer as well to the group and the WhatsApp group. So if you are watching this, you can just check it out. And then Precious Origi would also share hers in you also share us in the WhatsApp room. So um, all what you have learned, it will be a bad thing for you to have spent 2 hours thereabouts, and at the end of the day, you don't implement. All right, these guys, like I said, we can't say it enough. They're global oriented speakers, okay, and they don't even have the time. So we have to make do with the little time they can spend for us. So if you have questions, share them in the comments in the room. We're going to open the WhatsApp room. Probably if your question is not yet ready, and you want to share it in the WhatsApp room based on privacy and stuff, you can do that, and then you take it up from there. So I want to use this opportunity once again to appreciate our speakers, Mr. Nathaniel Pendo. Thank you so much, for doing this again. Thank you for answering when we call, and Precious Origi, despite your time, I know you are running off to somewhere else. You're running off to do one or two things and stuff like that. Thank you again and again, for your time. Rachel Augustine, also in absentia. The few minutes you had to spare with us, we really appreciate you. Again and again, guys, we're going to be doing this. And let me just quickly say this. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you can do that, right? You can subscribe to this YouTube channel. Okay, someone asked a question. Okay. I think I saw one or two questions here. I don't know if Nathaniel you can help with that quickly before you move. What are some of the best platforms for showcasing creative work and getting international clients? And when using social media, is it advisable to use clients' DMs? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's kind of whatever. I don't think there's a specific platform, if I'm honest. I personally use Facebook and LinkedIn. There are little nuances to each platform. Like, for example, if you're going to be cold DMing people, like there's certain nuances to making sure your message is actually seen. Like, I think we forget that as creatives. Like, we want to make sure our clients' emails are read, but we don't focus on if our cold DMs are read. And like, for example, someone recently told me like a hack on Instagram is to basically react to someone's story in their DMs, and then you automatically go into their main inbox rather than the message requests. And for Facebook, I would say comment on their stuff first, like I kind of demonstrated. Now, this is not an absolute guarantee. So you comment on their stuff first, then add them as a friend. Then that means that you won't come up as a message request before you message them. It's not always possible. If they don't accept the request, then maybe you might have to message them first. But what I would say is get verified as well. That you can do that for like 30 days with paying like pennies, basically. So I'm talking about 50 pence. Like, it's not even a pound, not even a dollar. So you can get verified on Facebook, and I would say that's definitely helped my personal deliverability of like Facebook messages. So yeah, I would say like you can make any platform work. You just have to learn the little nuances of it. Like on LinkedIn, people are quite like particular. They don't like you to just cold DM them. They much prefer if you've kind of made a bit of an introduction first. Whereas on like Instagram and Facebook, there's sort of different ways that you can do it. I don't know like Instagram super well. I don't know X very much as far as cold outreach. I don't think that's like, I've never heard anyone say that they're super successful with that. But I think any platform can work as long as you're willing to sort of learn a little bit about it. Go to clients' DMs. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say if you're pitching locally, calling them isn't that bad, but I wouldn't do that for like broad clients. I don't think that's necessarily the best way. I haven't personally had any success from cold email. I know that some people have, but I think DMs are generally easier in terms of actually getting answers. That's my personal experience anyway. Sorry, Gideon, I can't hear you. Right. Sorry, guys. I'm actually going to jump off this now because I've got to put my son to bed. But listen, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you all. And it's been a pleasure I've actually taken notes from the other speakers as well. So I think it kind of shows how valuable they both are. Rachel and Precious, they've both given you amazing tips. So I'm sure you can definitely, like, as long as you've taken some notes, or if you can rewatch the replay of this call, I'm sure you'll be able to put what everyone said into a little bit of action. Gideon's back now, so I'll let him retake it. Looks like he's still muted, but I'm going to get off. Gideon, thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor to present with you and to present with the other two speakers also. And guys, I literally wish you the best of luck in your creative journey, and feel free to reach out. Literally feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. It's Nathaniel Pendle, or LinkedIn. I'm on both of those platforms. So if you need any help, I normally try and make time for people where I can, right? So like I say, it's been an absolute honor, and I wish you guys the best. Just use the information that you've got today and try and implement it as best that you can. Gideon, I'm sure I'll speak to you soon. And yeah, glory, glory, Man United for Gideon and any other United fans here. Right, I'll speak to you guys later. I'm signing off.